Here's your Y&R recap for the Thursday, July 3rd, 2025 episode of The Young and the Restless, when Victoria and Claire have a devastating loss. Holden follows Kane's orders, and Daniel suggests Mariah's secret is darker than Tessa realizes. At the hospital, Cole told Claire and Victoria that he had made peace with it, but he wasn't going to survive. He didn't want Claire and Victoria to suffer watching him. They both told him reasons why they needed him to survive. "You're both going to catch each other, I know that," Cole said. He told them he didn't want to waste time talking about moments they would miss with them. He just wanted to spend what time he had left letting them know they were loved. Cole told Claire how proud he was of her and asked her to be brave. "I've done a lot of things in my life, but my proudest moment is being your dad," Cole told her. Claire said she was proud to be his daughter as well. She recounted her moments of loneliness in her childhood and how she'd made a birthday wish when she turned 7 that her dad would be funny and kind. Whenever she was scared, as she was at that moment, the thought of him would be there for her to find comfort and strength. Claire said the wish came true, and she couldn't bear to think that he wouldn't be in her life now. "Even if you let go, I'm not going to," she sobbed, as she told him she would hold on to him tight. "I'm going to make the same wish again, and then you won't have any choice but to fight and get better," Claire cried. She said that even though she was a grown-up, she still needed her dad. Cole reminded Claire that they had been given a second chance to get to know one another, and they spent the time wisely. "We squeezed every bit of love in every day that we had," Cole added. Victoria sobbed as Claire begged Cole to live so they could have more days together, but he told her that this was goodbye. "It's not okay, I can't say it. I'm sorry, Dad," Claire cried before running out of the room. Once alone, Cole marveled at the second chance that he and Victoria had, and that most don't have the love they have. He said that their happy ever after love story could only be found in fairy tales. Victoria noted that it didn't feel like happily ever after to her. "We got the happy part. We both really know that there's no such thing as ever after," Cole whispered. Victoria wasn't so sure about that and said she counted on seeing him in the next life. Cole told her he would be waiting. Cole knew that Victoria would take care of Claire. Victoria told Cole she wasn't going to ask him to stay because she knew that he couldn't. "But I would like to ask you for one last thing, please," she cried. "Would you kiss me?" I'm sick, Vic," Cole said weakly, but said he wanted that more than anything. Victoria leaned in and kissed Cole as he took his last breaths. Victoria sat back down and cried. Daniel ran into Tessa at Crimson Lights, and she updated him that Mariah had moved out. They sat down to talk, and Tessa shared that she hoped that Mariah would change her mind and come home. Daniel wondered if there was anything that Mariah could have done that Tessa wouldn't be able to forgive. Tessa confessed she'd already thought of the worst-case scenario, but didn't believe that had happened. All that Mariah is feeling right now is trapped by her own pain and misery, Tessa concluded. Daniel suggested that maybe whatever Mariah did was far beyond her imagination. Tessa didn't think Mariah was the same person who was raised by Ian Ward and wouldn't do something illegal. Daniel wondered if that was part of Ian's legacy to make Mariah so damaged that she couldn't stop herself from doing something she regretted. Tessa told Daniel she could only focus on the things that she could control, and that was to take care of their daughter. Until Mariah opened up, she couldn't help her. She appreciated Daniel's friendship. Daniel held her hand and agreed that at least he could be a distraction. Daniel offered to postpone guitar lessons as Tessa had so much on her plate. Tessa said making music was helpful to her as well. Daniel offered to be there for her whenever he wanted to talk. At the park, Mariah was in deep thought. "What have I done?" she asked herself. She agonized over the memory she had of laughing and drinking with a man, and then they looked into each other's eyes. Later, Mariah sat on the park bench, recalling herself sitting, stunned, in an armchair, holding a pillow. She gasped and sobbed to herself again, asking, "What have I done?" At society, Chelsea told Adam she wished she could go to France with him, but knew she couldn't. Adam was convinced that Colin and Kane were running a con and wanted to forewarn his dad. Adam shared that he had a feeling that something bad was about to happen to his family. Adam thought the GCAC was a local institution, and it freaked him out that Aristotle Dumas bought it. Chelsea noted that he'd overpaid for most of the properties he'd bought in Genoa City. Chelsea advised Adam that Aristotle wouldn't want to take on the Newmans. Outside the window, Holden approached the restaurant but saw Chelsea and Adam inside. He glanced at the list on his phone that Kane had instructed him to casually make acquaintances with: Chelsea Lawson, Adam Newman, Mariah Copeland, and Claire Newman. Holden put his phone in his pocket and walked away. Chelsea walked Adam outside to say goodbye to him as he left for the airport. When she went to walk back inside, Holden reappeared and held the door open for her. He stopped her inside and said, "I apologize for sounding forward, but aren't you Chelsea Lawson?" Holden told Chelsea he was a huge fan of hers and work in fashion, and that she found a sweet spot between what was classic and cutting edge. Holden introduced himself and offered to buy her a drink. He explained that he had just left his position, but with his interest in fashion, he was thinking of a new career path and hoped she could give him some advice. Chelsea told Holden that she wasn't in fashion anymore, as she'd left Marchetti for Newman Media. "But I have a feeling you already knew that," she added. Chelsea said that she knew he worked for Nate's half-brother Damien and had seen him at Crimson Lights earlier. "How do you know Kane Ashby?" she asked. Holden stammered that he had just met him and swore that was the truth. "Is it true that you're between jobs? Because Kane was giving you marching orders like he was your boss. What exactly do you do for him?" she wondered. "Damn, you are good," Holden replied. Holden insisted that he didn't work for Kane and that they had just started talking at the coffee shop randomly. He explained that Kane mentioned he used to live there, and they were talking about things that had changed in Genoa City. Chelsea wondered what information Holden was hoping to get from her. Holden said he was just a sucker for an interesting and beautiful woman. Holden insisted he was just a harmless flirt and that he did find Chelsea intriguing. "You know, from fashion, there is more than what one can see with the eye," he added. "So you really are a fan?" Chelsea asked hopefully. Holden thought the designer shirt he was wearing would have given his fashion interest away. He smiled as he apologized if he had upset her in any way. Chelsea told him that he didn't upset her. She appreciated his compliments and believed that he admired her work. "But I think everything else you said is a lie," she retorted. Victoria and Claire came home and consoled one another. "I shouldn't have left like that," Claire said. "I didn't say goodbye." Victoria told her that Cole wasn't upset about it. "It's not right. We finally found each other after all these years. He's never going to hug me again," Claire cried. Victoria pulled out Cole's jacket and put it around Claire's shoulders as she smelled his cologne. "It's almost as though he's hugging me," she said. Victoria made Claire some tea. Claire didn't know how to handle losing someone she loved so much, but Victoria said she hadn't figured that out either. Claire wondered if Victoria truly believed in heaven and if her dad was there. Victoria told her she did. Claire didn't know what to think, but knew she would carry Cole in her heart for the rest of her life. Victoria noted she was missing her dad, mom, and Nick, Kay, but knew that if they could call, they would. She and Claire both thought they would be fine and needed some time to process that Cole was gone. Claire put Cole's jacket on Victoria before going up to bed. Alone in the kitchen, Victoria sobbed. She spotted Cole's book about British romanticism and brought it upstairs with her. Claire came home to the dark living room and grabbed the phone. She called Kyle and left him another message. "I wish you would respond. I need to hear your voice. It's my dad. I lost him. He's gone," she cried before hanging up. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Welcome to the Young and the Restless Daily YAPP. For a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. On the Young and the Restless today, Holden took Kane's instructions to heart. He whipped out his list, checked it twice, and saw his opportunity to get some sort of inroads with Chelsea. But Holden's smooth moves were no match for the ex-con. With a knowing look, a slightly raised elbow, and a smile that said she was mildly entertained with his attempt at conning her, Chelsea had Holden gobsmacked when she called him out. Not only did she know he knew exactly who she was before he asked, but she told him straight up she'd seen him sharing coffee at Crimson Lights with none other than Kane Ashby. While Holden fumbled with explanations, Chelsea pummeled him with more questions, knowing she'd gained the upper hand. And then, like any good con, she threw him a lifeline and pretended to soften. She said she believed some of what he said, but not all of it, which was good enough for Holden to think he still had an open line of communication the next time they met. And, of course, it definitely leaves the door open for Chelsea to find out more from Holden. But the best part of that whole exchange? Gone was the wide-eyed, gullible yet wounded look of hope in Chelsea's eyes, like she does with Adam. Instead, she was sharp, smart, and bold. "More of that, Chelsea, please! Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full Y&R recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not. Seriously, do not. Forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs. In the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. The Young and the Restless recap for Thursday, July 3rd, reveals that Cole Howard will flatline after Victoria Newman gives him one last kiss. There'll also be a criminal clue thanks to Mariah Copeland's flashback, so here's what Y&R fans can expect. In the park, Mariah will cry as she asks herself what she's done. We'll see Mariah recall laughing with the stranger before flashing back to holding a pillow with tears streaming down her face. Did Mariah smother that mystery man? Could that be the horrible thing she's been hiding all this time? Whatever the case, Tessa Porter will lean on Daniel Romalotti Jr. at Crimson Lights and admit that Mariah moved out of the house. There'll be speculation about what Mariah did before Tessa assures Daniel that she wants to keep going with their guitar lessons. Daniel will take Tessa's hand as he continues to offer support. At Society, Adam Newman will talk to Chelsea Lawson about Colin Atkinson, or maybe Kane Ashby himself being Aristotle Dumas. Although Adam will still have questions about the motives involved here, Chelsea will think he can get the full Dumas picture once he compares notes with Victor Newman. Chelsea will be a little nervous about sending Adam off to Nice, especially since nobody has heard from anyone who attended Dumas's party. However, Adam will offer reassurance before kissing Chelsea and heading off for his flight. Holden Novak will wait until Adam is gone and ultimately approach Chelsea to gush over her fashion career. However, Chelsea will suspect there's more going on here since she saw Holden with Kane earlier. Holden will claim he just met Kane, but Chelsea will think it looked like Kane was giving him marching orders. Although Holden will keep offering compliments and spinning fake stories, Chelsea will see through his attempt to pump her for information. At the hospital, Cole Howard will insist on saying goodbye and won't want to waste precious time living in denial. Claire Newman, on the other hand, will insist she can't let Cole go, especially since it hasn't been that long since they found each other. Although Claire will want to make more memories together, Cole will stand his ground on this being farewell and let her know how proud he is to be her dad. Claire won't be able to actually say goodbye and will rush out of the room, so Cole will turn his attention to Victoria next. Victoria won't need Cole to say much of anything. She'll just want to be in the moment with him. Cole will know he can trust Victoria to look after Claire when he's gone, and will promise to be waiting for Victoria on the other side. Once Victoria asks for one last kiss, he'll admit he wants that more than anything. Following that final lip lock, Cole will flatline and leave Victoria in despair. Victoria and Claire will eventually make their way home, where they'll try to process the fact that Cole is really gone. After comforting each other, Claire will leave Victoria and head upstairs for some alone time. Victoria will really let her emotions pour out in private and will ultimately take Cole's book to bed with her. Later, Claire will leave Kyle a voicemail and offer updates on the tragic Cole news. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Kane Ashby could find out some Mariah Copeland blackmail material. Will Holden Novak report back with updates on some shocking news? In the July 1st episode, Kane delivered some new instructions to Holden regarding 4 key players in town. Holden has to make connections with Mariah, Chelsea Lawson, Adam Newman, and Claire Newman as part of Kane's plan. Kane was tight-lipped about the details when it came to his agenda regarding those 4 people. All Holden knows is that he's supposed to be non-threatening and basically act like he's just looking to make new friends around Genoa City. Of course, Holden didn't anticipate Kane's latest orders, but he's already befriended Claire. Now Holden can start getting to know Adam, Chelsea, and Mariah as well. We have to consider why Mariah might be on this list since she's in a completely different storyline right now. Is Mariah's story about to collide with all the Aristotle Dumas, aka Kane drama next? Later during the week of June 30th, July 4th, Mariah will be an emotional wreck. Y&R fans will see Mariah freaking out since she'll feel like there's no escaping the secret that's been weighing on her. Holden recently came to Claire's rescue when she was having a panic attack. Could Holden come to Mariah's rescue next? That's an option to consider that could perhaps make Mariah a little more trusting of Holden in the coming episodes. Even if Mariah doesn't spill much right now, she might spill something later about the stranger on her business trip, and what we can assume is some kind of criminal cover-up. Mariah has been careful not to divulge anything incriminating to Sharon Newman and Tessa Porter, but maybe Holden could somehow pry the truth out of her. It's possible that Mariah went back to a hotel suite with that mystery man, hallucinated he was Ian Ward and killed him. Mariah may have suddenly pumped the brakes on whatever intimate encounter the guy was after and lost it on him when he wouldn't stop. There might turn into a situation where Holden is able to give Kane some blackmail material. Could this ultimately tie in with Kane's business goals in Genoa City? After all, Nick Newman cares about Sharon's daughter, and could certainly be an influential voice when it comes to swaying Victor Newman regarding the future of Chancellor. In the end, Kane might suggest that he has the power to make Mariah's mess go away, or make sure it all comes out in the ugliest way possible. Kane could use this info to control Nick and Sharon, so he might get his hands on Cassidy First technology and maybe even Chancellor if he plays his cards right. Jermaine Rivers stars on The Young and the Restless as Damian Kane, but he also grew up watching the show. He asked a general question yesterday about other fans of soaps, and it set off an internet firestorm. On The Young and the Restless, Jermaine Rivers has found his character, Damian Kane, stuck in the middle of several crosshairs since joining the show at the beginning of the year. Some storylines he is tied to are new, some have been ongoing, and others date back decades. Hello, Nate Hastings, Sr. But yesterday, the actor posed a serious question on his X account. I'm convinced that most of today's so-called soap fans are far removed from the sweet old ladies who watched it back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. The internet has created some straight savages who are mean-spirited and tune in to just complain about the shows they watch. What happened to watching soaps for the love of it? Why are y'all so mad, hateful, and triggered for? Real talk. Ash spread love. Fan reactions spread beyond X to other social network platforms, and it seems everyone wanted to be heard. Some wanted to explain the mindset, while others wanted to defend being, well, nasty. Rivers quantified, I watched soaps as a kid with my mom, and even during my lunch break with other soldiers when I was on active duty. We all enjoyed it for what it was. Pure entertainment. Rivers appreciated that soap fans are passionate about characters and storylines, but didn't understand why some would get so triggered by watching a show that it would invoke toxic behavior online. Ex-user @Donald Jr. Peebles agreed. Good morning, Jermaine. Some people use social media to complain about whatever because they are unable to express themselves authentically in real life. Some live vicariously through soap opera characters because they cannot be them. They wish they can talk back and live grand. There's enough hate and division in the world. Soap actors, writers, and crew members work hard to bring these shows together to entertain the fans. Let's keep the hate out of the equation, Rivers suggested. Ex-user @GC Gossiper agreed, replying, It's a little like road rage. Do and say things you never would face to face. Not worth engaging with trolls and frankly miserable people. Good for you bringing it up. Courtesy isn't so common these days. Others, however, just wanted to defend being able to express themselves in whatever manner they chose, and blasted the actor for not being on the show long enough to have an opinion. Others took offense that Rivers suggested people could be carelessly offensive. In response to one such post, @ForFuckSake said, "Case in point right here. Fans think their opinion matters more than others, so they speak with superiority and snark. This isn't constructive criticism anymore, which is normal chatter amongst viewers. The degradation of others to make a point is why I agree with @JermaineRivers. Have some fans lost their way between voicing their opinions on their favorite shows and expressing them as constructive criticism? As writers, we can see different personalities between the shows and audiences, meaning each soap has a distinct type of audience, and that creates a unique online interaction style. Do you think some go too far with the snide remarks and snarkiness if they dislike what they see? Or is it all part of the entertainment, and no different than how they would talk to a real person if they were to meet someone from the show? The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, July 4th reveal that Adam Newman will become a party crasher while Kane Ashby ends up a step behind Victor Newman. Nikki Newman will also make a confession, so there'll be a lot happening on the CBS soap. For starters, Adam will make his way to Nice and join the festivities on Aristotle Dumas, aka Kane's property. The storm did some damage to the roads and train tracks, so Adam will face quite a challenge getting up that mountain. Nevertheless, Adam will ultimately surprise Victor, Nikki, and Nick Newman with his presence. This will give Adam a chance to offer updates on Dumas's latest purchases, including the athletic club and the Chancellor divisions that Nikki sold off. You can bet Adam will mention Kane's surprise visit to Genoa City as well. Nikki will confess some concerns when it comes to Chancellor and what the future holds. However, Victor will assure Nikki that he's going to protect Chancellor and anything else that belongs to their family. Of course, Victor will have some news for Adam as well. Adam already suspects Kane as a possible candidate for the man behind Dumas's empire, but Victor will confirm it soon enough. Y&R fans know Victor has dropped some hints about having a plan, and once he strategizes with Adam, he may feel even more confident in his upper hand. Kane will be a step behind Victor when it comes to their dueling agendas, so he'd better brace for some setbacks. There are far more important things to worry about anyway, since a fatal threat's about to strike. Someone will don a pair of gloves and move in for a kill with a knife, so Y&R fans won't want to miss all the action. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that we have to ask, where is Sam Ashby? Y&R fans are questioning the disappearance of Kane Ashby's youngest son and wondering if we're just supposed to pretend he doesn't exist. Longtime viewers may recall that Kane hooked up with Juliet Helton, who got pregnant and ultimately passed away during childbirth. It took some time for Lily Winters to warm up to little Sam, but she eventually did. In fact, Lily planned to be a mom to Sam once upon a time, but now it seems like the kid's been brushed under the rug. There's been plenty of talk about the twins, Charlie Ashby and Maddie Ashby, being all grown up. That's true due to a major case of SORAS, or soap opera rapid aging syndrome, several years ago. However, Sam was born in 2017 and should still be a child unless he came down with an extreme case of SORAS too. Is Sam in boarding school somewhere? Where did Sam go, and will he ever return? This may turn into a situation similar to the one that's happened with Christian Newman. Adam Newman's youngest biological son is being raised by Nick Newman, but we never see Christian anymore, and he's rarely even mentioned. Of course, it's possible that Y&R decided Sam didn't work for their Kane and Lily reunion agenda. Maybe we're just supposed to forget the Sam story even happened and focus on the kids Kane shares with Lily instead. Sam might come back into play somewhere down the line if the show decides he could be useful after all. Online TV streaming services. However, it's clear that Kane is all about reuniting with Lily right now, so Sam just doesn't fit with that narrative. In the quiet halls of the Newman estate in Genoa City, a poignant story of love, loss, and discovery unfolded, leaving an indelible mark on those who lived it. At the heart of this narrative is Cole, a man facing the twilight of his life, and the two women closest to him, Victoria, his lifelong love, and Claire, their daughter. As Cole's final moments approached, A shocking revelation about a hidden family member set the stage for a journey that would test their resilience and redefine their understanding of family. This is a story of heartbreak, hope, and the enduring power of connection, resonating with anyone who has faced the pain of goodbye while searching for a path forward. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the Newman estate, Cole lay in his bed, grappling with the weight of his mortality. The pain in his body was secondary to the emotional ache of leaving behind those he loved. Victoria, his partner, through years of passion and turmoil, entered the room with a grace that belied her inner turmoil. Her eyes, shimmering with unshed tears, met Cole's in a moment of profound connection. Their shared history, marked by love, conflict, and reconciliation, culminated in a tender kiss, a silent vow that their bond would endure beyond the boundaries of life. Claire, their daughter, joined them, her heart heavy with the impending loss of her father. Her presence brought both comfort and anguish, as she clung to the hope of more time with the man she had only recently begun to truly know. In a moment that would change everything, Cole revealed a long-buried secret. Claire had a half-brother, a sibling she never knew existed. This revelation struck like a thunderbolt, shattering the fragile composure in the room and leaving Claire reeling with a mix of shock, hope, and fear. Cole, with the clarity of someone standing at life's edge, urged Claire to seek out this brother, imploring her not to let grief isolate her, but to embrace the possibility of new connections. As Cole's strength faded, he spoke words of love and pride to Claire, praising her resilience and courage. The weight of his goodbye was almost too much for Claire to bear, and she fled the room, overwhelmed by the intensity of her emotions. Victoria remained by Cole's side, holding his hand in silent communion, a testament to their enduring love. When Cole's final breath came, it was marked not by drama, but by a gentle passing, leaving Victoria and Claire to navigate the void of his absence. In the days following Cole's death, the Newman estate became a place of haunting silence, each room echoing with memories of the man who had shaped the lives of those within it. Victoria moved through the house like a ghost, her grief a heavy shroud. Yet, beneath her sorrow, she carried a flicker of purpose, to honor Cole's final wish by guiding Claire through her loss and helping her find the brother he had revealed. Claire, meanwhile, wrestled with her grief in her own way, wandering the halls in search of traces of her father. In the scent of his aftershave, the worn books he loved, or the creak of the floorboards. The revelation of her half-brother became a beacon in her darkness, a challenge that stirred both hope and uncertainty. She oscillated between despair and determination, driven by the need to uncover the truth about her family. In a quiet moment under a willow tree at dawn, Victoria approached Claire, gently reminding her of Cole's wish for her to find her brother, not as a burden, but as a gift of family. This conversation marked a turning point, as Claire's grief gave way to a resolve to seek out her half-brother, not just for her father, but for herself. The promise of a new connection became a lifeline, a way to honor Cole's memory by living bravely. The search for Claire's half-brother, Ethan, was fraught with challenges. Victoria, with her characteristic determination, called upon old allies and dusted off contacts to uncover clues about Cole's secret past. Claire, no longer content to let life happen to her, dove into the investigation with tenacity, scouring records and pressing for answers. The deeper they dug, the more complex the mystery became. Whispers of an affair, a child born in secret, and a woman whose name was unfamiliar to them both. After weeks of false leads and emotional strain, they found a name buried in the records of a small town 100 miles from Genoa City. Ethan, a young man raised by a single mother, lived a quiet life, unaware of his connection to the Newman family. When Victoria and Claire finally met him, Ethan reacted with suspicion, wary of these strangers who threatened to upend his world. It took time, shared stories, and moments of vulnerability for the walls between them to crumble. Slowly, Ethan began to see Claire not as an intruder, but as a sister searching for connection in the wake of loss. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Thursday, July 3rd, push Mariah to the breaking point, as she realizes she can no longer keep her crimes a secret. Mariah came back from her business trip haunted and pushing Tessa. She refused to open up to her wife, to her mother, and even walked away from her daughter, claiming Arya wouldn't be safe with her terrible, awful, criminal mommy. So what did Mariah do exactly? Well, we're not sure. We know a creepy old man was involved, and so was alcohol. Also, Mariah feels so guilty that she doesn't believe she deserves to be happy, especially not with Tessa and Arya. But she'll only be able to deflect for so long. Her sins are about to be revealed, when Mariah wants it or not. Victoria is very worried about a sick Cole. Claire is very worried about a sick Cole. Cole, however, isn't worried. Cole has made up his mind. He's dying. And there is nothing anybody can do about it. So Cole says his goodbyes to his daughter and to his ex-wife. But did he forget that Victoria is Victor Newman's daughter? Victor has never had to accept anything he doesn't want. So why should Victoria? Bad news, good news, it doesn't matter. Victoria will make it the news she needs it to be. Chelsea may currently be working for Adam, and considering herself a media mogul after her time spent playing fashion mogul, but the only real work experience she has is as a con artist. Chelsea was raised to lie, cheat, and periodically drug and rape, so she can smell a con a mile away. And Chelsea smells one now. Is Kane currently the biggest con on the canvas? Or is Chelsea digging down deeper? I knew The Young and the Restless was going to give its viewers a tearjerker of a goodbye, but I wasn't prepared for the heartbreak that was Cole Howard's last goodbye. I have seen plenty of heartbreaking farewells on this show, but Cole's departure with Claire and Victoria struck a deeper chord. Perhaps it was the calm resignation in his voice. Or it was the look in Claire's eyes when she first realized her father was slipping away. Or perhaps it was Victoria, who is always so strong and composed, shattered as Cole said his farewell. On The Young and the Restless, this was not another soap moment, but painfully real. Cole was not begging for more time or making grand speeches. He just let go. And it broke me. Cole's choice to stop fighting wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a sign of peace. They had been clear as day that there was nothing else anyone could do. No new experimental treatment. No more false hope. For Cole to face the inevitable with clarity and grace was gut-wrenching, especially because he was finally with the people that mattered most. I thought I could see the hurt on Victoria's face, hanging on for dear life to him, just needing to see a glimmer of reasoning in him, maybe making it through. And Claire seemed like she was watching the decline of her life, step by step. What wrecked me most about this experience is that this wasn't a dramatic storybook death scene. It was soft, intimate, a family sitting with the reality of what they were facing. Cole didn't cry or plead. He said what needed to be said, thanked, loved, and prepared to move on. The quiet dignity of this only magnified the loss. It was finality. And I think every fan watching felt the weight of that silence when Cole lay back and closed his eyes on The Young and the Restless. The performances in that hospital room were outstanding, but it was the emotional storytelling that resonated. This wasn't just about Cole passing away. It was about what his absence would mean for Victoria and Claire moving forward. This father-daughter relationship, which had just started to heal, was taken away before fully open. And for Victoria, who has lost so much in her life, now needs to carry the burden of the memory of that last goodbye. I don't know how she will move on from this. I don't know how I am supposed to move on from this. There was something beautiful in the way Cole said farewell. He provided closure to those who loved him. He reminded them of what he knew to be true. They had strength, even if he wouldn't be able to witness it. I can't stop crying, not only because of the loss, but the love that so clearly shone in that room. Cole may have gone off the canvas on The Young and the Restless, but his spirit will return with Claire and Victoria, and in the hearts of supporters like me who weren't ready to let go. This was no ordinary soap farewell. It was a course in emotional storytelling that I will always remember long past the show's movement. I am sure the words, "We need to say goodbye," will never again have the same ring for me. Devon Hamilton, portrayed by actor Brighton James, remains a focal point for the current goings-on on The Young and the Restless. Through July 2025, his narrative involves increased tensions with Amanda Sinclair, growing suspicion for Kane Ashby, and uncertainty about the motives of those around him. These interweaving plot strands are playing out largely at the Dumas estate in France. Traditionally depicted as calm and collected, Devon finds himself now having to navigate emotionally and professionally delicate ground. Interpersonal tension, re-emergent relationships, and strategic issues are all coming together in ways that challenge his judgment. His responses and choices in the next few episodes on The Young and the Restless seem destined to define both his business future and personal life. Amanda Sinclair's return has set unresolved emotional issues in motion. Recently, Devon confronted Amanda at the Dumas mansion, voicing concern at her increasing familiarity with Kane Ashby. He wondered if she was being manipulated and questioned the motive behind her participation in the mansion visit. Amanda retorted sternly, stating clearly that she no longer takes orders from Devon when it comes to her decisions or affiliations. Their dialogue marked a change in their dynamic. While Devon's response showed continued emotional attachment, Amanda's position demonstrated her autonomy. The event highlighted the tension between former closeness and current boundaries, as both characters are now functioning with new expectations. In The Young and the Restless, Devon's tension with Kane Ashby continues. He believes that Kane is not being honest about the entire breadth of his endeavors or his relationship to the Dumas estate. Devon expressed concerns regarding possible ulterior motives and has hinted at Kane possibly being involved in affairs that will influence their personal or commercial interests. These come from the fact that Kane, in the past, had been involved in dishonest financial transactions, especially those that involved his father, Colin Atkinson. Thus far, Kane has not provided clear explanations. His resistance to openness has only added to Devon's suspicions and helped create an increasing distance. Their exchanges indicate a loss of trust that could prove hard to heal without strong clarification or resolution. Phyllis Summers has emerged as an indirect but possibly disruptive force in Devon's narrative. She picked up on a private discussion between Amanda and Kane while she was staying with them at the Dumas estate. Though she has done nothing direct with this information yet, her history of using confidential information to drive personal agendas makes her involvement one of risk for all parties. Phyllis's motives are not yet clear, but her being close to major players in the unfolding story adds intrigue. Her ability to ratchet up or manipulate things might affect Devon's relationships and shape his view of those around him. Apart from personal issues, Devon is also facing pressures that could affect his career. As head of Hamilton Winters, he is highly aware of any incidents that might pose reputational or strategic risks. The ambiguity surrounding the Dumas estate and the people involved has diverted his attention from core business matters, increasing the chances of disruptions in operations or leadership. Regarding relationships, Devon and Abby Newman are still together, but current events may pull them apart. Devon's focus on Amanda and his ongoing conflict with Kane might strain communication with Abby, especially if emotional issues persist. Whether their relationship remains stable will likely depend on how Devon manages these external influences. As personal and professional stress increases, Devon's next move is bound to impact not just his immediate network, but the overall landscape of The Young and the Restless. Mariah Copeland has always been a character with layers, but Young and the Restless fans may want to brace themselves, because thanks to a sizzling theory from fan Lori Height Lampkin, things might be about to get downright diabolical. Lori's take: Mariah's latest business trip may have come with more baggage than a packed overnight bag. Picture this: a mysterious older man, a heated one-night stand, and a morning after that's anything but ordinary. Now imagine if that man isn't some random stranger at all, but the notorious, presumed dead Ian Ward. Post-plastic surgery makeover. Yep, that Ian Ward. Cult leader, manipulator, evil incarnate. The same man who has haunted Mariah's past, seduced her mother, and tormented the Newmans. According to Lori, he didn't die from Victor's wrath. He simply vanished, only to re-emerge in a new face and a brand new twisted plotline. Here's the kicker: Mariah doesn't even realize she's slept with her former predator. In a shocking turn, the fan theory goes one step further, suggesting Mariah kills him in a moment of panic or trauma, not knowing who he really is. And just as she's trying to emotionally recover from that whirlwind, surprise, she's pregnant. Talk about trauma stacked on trauma. Mariah has always been strong, but even she might crumble under the weight of carrying a child conceived under such horrifying circumstances. And the psychological layers? We'd be watching a character unravel while trying to protect her wife, her son, and herself from a past that won't die. Could this pregnancy be what finally forces Sharon to reckon with her own history with Ian? Would Tessa stand by Mariah, or would this dark twist break them? And let's not even start on what the Newmans would do if they learned Ian Ward might have a descendant lurking in Genoa City. Fan Lori Height Lampkin might just be onto the most shocking Y&R twist in years. It's messy, emotional, and totally bonkers. But if there's one thing we know about soaps, it's that the crazier the twist, the more likely it is to happen. One business trip, one mystery man, and one unexpected baby bump might change Mariah's world forever. And if Ian Ward is back, Genoa City better lock its door.